Hello everyone. Today I'm going to the streets with Matti Sulanto, who is a photographer and a YouTuber from Helsinki, Finland. He has a long career in photography and actually now he's arriving there. Can you see him? There he is, the man of the hour. So, here's the man, Matti Sulanto.
Hi everyone.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you start with photography?
I started out a long time ago, sometime in the 75, I think. From 1983 on, I was a commercial photographer until about 2017, so quite a few decades. And since 2018, I've been only a YouTuber, YouTube photographer. On my channel, I share what I know about photography and cameras.
That's a nice and compact explanation. Thank you very much. Should we head out on the streets then?
Yeah, sure. Let's go and grab a few photos.
Let's do that. What kind of gear do you usually use when you're shooting on the streets?
I have many different cameras. Today I'm shooting on my Nikon Z6 Mark III, but I also have the Sony A7 Mark IV. I have the Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark II X. And then I have some Micro Four Thirds gear too. I'm not a fanboy. I like to use all kinds of cameras.
You also have a Ricoh?
Yes, I have the GR3X also, and it's a really nice camera, one of my favorite cameras. So I have all kinds of cameras, and I like all kinds of cameras. And like I said, I'm not a fanboy or anything.
What kind of focal length do you prefer on the streets?
Today I have a 50. But this is a new lens, that's the reason. And there's nothing wrong with the 50, I like 50. My all-time favorite used to be, for decades, it used to be a 35mm lens on a full-frame camera, or 35mm film camera. But later I've learned to love a 40, but I also like 50. So anything between 28 and 50 on a full-frame camera or something equivalent on another format is good for street, in my opinion, and street and documentary is what I mostly like to do.
Do you ever shoot film?
Yes, still shoot film. It's a lot of fun and it's so simple compared to digital, and I love the process. I only shoot black and white film, and I also always develop my own films and then I scan them, and I think that's I don't know, if you never develop your own film and never print your own prints in a traditional darkroom, I think you are missing out a lot. I think if you only shoot film and then have it all processed elsewhere and scanned elsewhere, you're only experiencing like maybe 30% of the film experience. But I don't print anymore. I don't have a darkroom anymore. But back in the day, I used to print like thousands and thousands of prints, of course, for clients and for myself.
Do you have a favorite film stock?
My favorite used to be the Tri-X, but it's so super expensive these days. But I like the Ilford Delta 3200 and the Delta 400, is it the 400 speed film? I like those two these days. But I can't say today that I have a definite favorite.
How did you find street photography? How did it happen? Was there a certain moment that you remember that was like, oh, I want to try this also? Or?
I don't know. When I was starting out, I saw pictures from the classic street photographers, Gary Winogrand, Cartier-Bresson, of course, and many other classics, and I just loved their pictures, and I thought I want to do something similar. My commercial career was mostly corporate photography, magazines, editorials, and that kind of stuff. But in my heart, I've always been a documentarist, I guess, and a sort of a street photographer. I started out so long time ago, I can't say I remember any exact moment when that happened, when I got interested in street photography. And I guess one peak moment was when I first saw Sebastião Salgado's pictures. Those were really like eye-opening to me.
Is there something that you look differently when you are shooting? For example, when you're shooting black and white, are you
Yes.
watching the world with a different eye?
Yes, I guess it comes from my past. When I learned to photograph, it was only film. And back then, if you had black and white film in your camera, you kind of learned to see things in black and white, even though it was color, of course, through the camera. But still, you learn to sort of pre-visualize in black and white. And I guess I still do that with digital. And with digital, you can, if you want, you can, of course, turn the black and white mode on your camera so you can see everything in black and white. I guess because back in the day, when I learned to shoot black and white film, it's not so necessary for me to see things, in black and white through my camera, but it can help, yes.
When you're doing street photography, do you prefer shooting alone or with friends?
Alone. It's really, really nice to go out with friends and photography friends, and hang around and socialize. But if I really want to get some shots, I have to go alone. It doesn't work if I'm with someone else.
It's easier to concentrate alone.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have an idea when you go out? Do you already have an idea what you're gonna shoot that day? Do you plan what route you are going to walk, or?
I tend to go to same locations because I think it's interesting to see the same location on different day in different light and all that, and you can get some really nice shots taken at the same exact spot on a different day, and they look so different even though the location was same. I want to document things, and that's, I think, the main driving force. Helsinki is my home, but I've spent a lot of time in other big cities, and also in those other cities I tend to go to the same locations over and over again to see what I can get.
When you go out, do you plan it so that you think that today, for example, I'm going to find only color red, or?
No, not like that. Sometimes I have some sort of a loose theme or topic, but generally speaking, I'm just looking for interesting situations. And of course, if it's a sunny day, I tend to look for more light and shadow things. If it's a cloudy day, it's more like maybe shapes and compositions and stuff like that. So it depends. But generally, I don't usually have like a big idea when I go out.
Do you ever have any kind of project on one subject that you try to shoot often, like making a collection of photos out of something?
No.
No, you don't.
I mean,
Okay.
I like to tell people that the projects are good and they can help you to become better photographer. Over time, when you shoot as much as I shoot, you tend to get similar pictures, and then it's nice to compile them together and make it look like it was a project, like afterwards. I think a project is something that you are very committed and determined, and you work on it years, and so on. So I can't say I do a lot of stuff like that anymore. I don't like to stand, let's say, on a street corner and wait for something to happen. Sometimes when I see a good spot, I might stand there for a few minutes and see if something interesting comes up. But usually I walk and walk around and shoot whatever interesting I see. I don't spray and pray a lot. And I guess my film background also affects that. I mean, I definitely shoot more than I would shoot on film, but I typically shoot maybe between 100, 300 frames during one photo walk, and I think by modern standards, it's not that much. My camera is always on the single shot mode. I like to think a little bit before I hit the shutter. But sometimes, of course, if it's a super fast moment, then you just have to react and try to get the shot. But yeah, that's how I like to do it.
So I noticed that you have your screen turned inside, so that you are not watching the screen that much.
It depends. Sometimes I do it like this. Sometimes I look through the viewfinder. It depends on the situation.
So you don't prefer neither one?
Not anymore. I used to think that the viewfinder is the only way to do it. But
then you bought a Ricoh GR and you had to forget it.
that affected a lot. In my opinion, is to ignore the usefulness of the screen. If it makes it easier or you get better shots, why not use it?
Yeah, you've been spending a lot of winters abroad in Asia, Malaysia, I think. Yeah.
Southeast Asia, Australia.
Yeah.
I like those places.
Okay. It's warm.
Yeah. When we have the winter over here, they have a summer, so kind of warm every day. It's nice to go out.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes it's even too hot during the midday. In Southeast Asia, it's a lot easier to photograph people. Sometimes people they come up to me and ask me to take their picture, which never happens in Helsinki, for example, unless people are totally drunk. They might approach you and ask you to take their picture, but other than that, it never happens. It never happens in Australia either. It has happened to me over there too. When people are a little bit drunk, they can approach you. And
how do you feel about getting close to people on the street, approaching them and taking a photo close up?
I don't mind. I don't think it's difficult for me, but I also don't think it's necessary or mandatory in street photography. I don't even think it's necessary to have people if you are shy or somehow feel intimidated by going too close to strangers. Don't do it unless you feel comfortable.
So you don't think 28mm, 35mm is the only way to do street photography?
No. I do think that the telephoto lens is wrong. I think...
We're talking about Soul Lighter now.
But he was not... I don't think he was a street photographer in the same sense as some other photographers. He shot more like a painter, and many of his pictures are quite abstract, actually. And for something like that, telephoto is fine. But if you are taking pictures of people on the street, to me it feels wrong to use a long lens to sort of stalk behind the corner and take close-ups of people. I think a street shooter should be in the situation, and also the picture should convey the feeling of being in the situation rather than an outside observer. That's my opinion, and that's the way I like to shoot. You can still use a 50 or be a little bit farther away and shoot more general situations rather than close-ups of people. It all depends on how the situation is and how you feel about it. I guess that was confusing enough.
Okay. What about flashing people's faces? Like Bruce Gilden style?
I don't like Bruce Gilden's style. I like some of his pictures, but the way he gets really up close to people who obviously don't want him to take their picture, I think it's too intrusive, in my opinion. Flash can sometimes be really nice effect. I don't use a flash often anymore, but sometimes it can add to the picture, yeah.
Have you had any negative encounters on the street?
No, not that I can remember. And I think I would remember that those kinds of situations can be very uncomfortable, not nice. But I've never had anything like that happen to me. Oh yes, I remember one time, long time ago. I was in Paris. I was taking pictures of someone. I think he was a street vendor selling some kind of souvenirs, and he got really upset and told me not to take a picture. But generally speaking, no, I haven't had hardly any negative experiences.
Have you had any exhibitions?
No, I think it's because I used to shoot for magazines and all kinds of printed publications for decades, and my pictures were all over the place back in the day. So I think that was one reason I never sort of felt the need for a personal exhibition. But now it would be nice to do that maybe one day.
Do you have any plans on a certain
No,
theme?
no real plans, but
But it's bubbling under.
yes, it would be really nice.
What about photo competitions? Have you participated in those?
No,
How do you see them? Are they useful?
I guess they can be. I think again, reason why I never participated was that my I shot for clients all the time, and
Yeah.
that was competition enough for me. No, and there are so many of them, and some of them are obviously not very well curated, or the judges are not necessarily up to their task maybe. I really don't feel like I want to or need to do that.
Now that you do a lot of YouTube, do you still have a lot of time to go out and take photos as well, or are you concentrating more on the video side now?
I guess it's something like 50-50 balance, but obviously a lot of my time goes into YouTube, making those videos.
What made you start YouTube in the first place?
Back in 2017, I decided to quit all my commercial work. I photographed, but I didn't really publish my pictures anywhere for about almost a year. And then a good friend of mine, Peter Fusgård, he also has his own really nice YouTube channel. He was kicking my butt and told me to start on YouTube. And after a couple of weeks of only a couple of weeks of consideration, I decided to give it a go, and here I am after 6-7 years still
Still doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, like you're kicking my ass now to do
Yes,
it.
exactly.
Exactly.
Kicking your butt.
How do you see the role of YouTube in the photography these days? Is it an important media to?
I suppose it can be. It can inspire people when they see someone like you or me or someone else creating interesting stuff. It can inspire other people. So I think it has a big role in that. And there is a lot to choose from on YouTube. If you don't like my channel, you can always choose another channel that you might like better. So yeah, I think it's a good source of information, but obviously, like with all social media, you have to be a little bit critical when you watch it.
What about your hit rate? Many people talk about that, how your hit rate is when you go on a photo walk. Do you always get some bangers?
No, I think it's an illusion that you should always get something really good. I'd say if I shoot 100 pictures, there are maybe 5 or 10 that I like, and maybe one that I really like, something like that. So it depends. Of course, one day you may end up with 5 really good ones, but one day you may end up with nothing. Even though you shoot like crazy, but still there's nothing really good. So It really depends. And street photography, oh, it's so hard. If you shoot actively and if you get one or two good ones each month, I think it's decent.
Okay.
I mean, I'm talking about really, really good ones.
Yeah. How selective are you? Are you a huge critic of your own photography?
I guess so. I know where I'm standing with my photography. Sometimes in my videos I will share pictures that are not masterpieces, but I know they are not masterpieces. And I also don't want to give any kind of I don't know, like an illusion that I only shoot perfect pictures. That's also one of my points in my videos, that not every picture is a masterpiece. I know how my pictures are.
Textures.
Yeah, shapes.
Soul lighter.
Yeah, a little bit like soul.
What are the points that you look in a photo?
Subject, light, composition and timing. Well, those four things.
What is the most important?
If you have a good subject and a really good light, I think it can be a decent photo. But if you get any of those, any three of those, then it's a really good photo already. And if you get all four, then it's a masterpiece.
What is the most important thing you learned through photography?
I've learned to see what is happening around me. I get an immense satisfaction when I see something really mundane, which is really interesting at the same time. And I'm kind of proud that I'm able to do that and do something or see something that many people can't see. So when I'm walking down the street, I may observe or be able to see some things that are really interesting. There's a pretty light or some nice color composition or whatever, and I'm the only one who can see that. In the world, obviously, I'm not the only one, but I mean, if there are like, I don't know, 50 people passing, I might be the only one who can see that. And of course, it takes my mind off some other stress or worries I might have. I don't worry too much these days, but sometimes I do.
Do you think street photographs should always have a human in them?
No.
So-
In my opinion, no. I think a street photo needs some human man-made elements in them, but people are not necessary in my opinion. And like I said earlier, if you are shy and you feel intimidated by approaching strangers, don't do it. Shoot something else. Shoot whatever you can see, maybe some rusty stuff that someone fished from the sea, or just light and shadow, whatever.
So what's your take on social media?
You mean like as a photographer?
Yeah, many people are bashing Instagram, for example, for what it is these days. How do you see it?
I haven't been active on Instagram for a long time anymore. I don't think it serves photographers that well these days. And I've never been a huge fan of Instagram. I guess when it started out, it was pretty good, I guess. YouTube is good.
We've all seen some AI-made street photos on social media. What do you think about that?
Well, for me, and I guess for many, street photography, travel photography, documentary photography, it's also being in the situation, hearing the seabirds and smelling the street kitchen behind us. It's an experience. When I see my own pictures from that situation, I remember all the smells and the sounds and everything. Of course, if a third person sees my picture, I hope they can sort of also sense how the situation was. I don't think AI could ever replace that. I'd much rather be out here walking around, interacting with people, smelling the food, hearing the birds, rather than sitting inside tapping the keyboard and creating AI pictures. I have to say I have nothing against AI-generated pictures in general. I think how the AI companies stole our pictures to train AI, that was wrong. If someone wants to create AI pictures, by all means, let them do that. I don't think it can ever replace photography, for me at least. It's such a different experience.
So what is your favorite place in the world where you've been taking photos?
I'm not sure if I have a definite favorite place. Every place has its upsides and downsides. And I've never been in a place that I would absolutely dislike or hate.
Is there a place that you remember as an amazing place? That had something, the light was special or something like that?
Sometimes it's the whole experience of being someplace. It might not be just a picture-taking moment. I've been shooting for such a long time, almost 50 years. So there are so many memorable moments.
If you could now go anywhere to take photos, any place in the world, what would it be?
I'd probably go to Perth, Australia. I mean, I wouldn't go there only to take pictures. I just would like to be there at the moment.
So there's nothing like many people say New York or Tokyo or something, but you don't have any of these places on your bucket list where you would like to go and take photos?
I've never been to New York. I've been to Tokyo, Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur, Melbourne, Sydney, Los Angeles, London, Paris, Rome, many photogenic cities. I don't have any definite favorites in that regard.
Do you have any tips for young photographers or old photographers who have just started doing street photography, for example?
Guess the most important thing is to get out and start shooting. Don't compare yourself to others. Shoot what you like and the way you like, and if you just start it out, you probably don't have any personal style yet or anything like that. Just shoot a lot, and I think that's the most important thing. Just shoot and try to observe what is happening around you. Keep your eyes open. Don't get too hung up with some technical things like settings and stuff like that. Learn to see what is happening around you. I think that's the most important thing. And I can't emphasize it enough. You have to go out and start shooting. It's much more important to go out and start shooting than watching tips and tricks videos, for example. If you try to find a shortcut to great pictures without making any mistakes, I think it's impossible. But once you make some mistakes and you learn from your own mistakes, you'll remember and learn much better that way. And that's why I think it's so important to go out and start shooting. And yeah, one more thing.
Yeah.
Street and documentary photography, it's not about technical perfection. It's about the situation, it's about the light, it's about the atmosphere, the mood, the vibe in the picture. It's not about the sharpness or anything like that.
If there's some photographers that you admire, do you think it's good to copy what they do or try to mimic their style, their way? Do you think it helps creating your own style?
Obviously, we all have some photographers we like their work, we like to follow them. I don't think it's a bad thing to be influenced by someone else. I think you should still do what feels good to you, what feels right to you, and what comes naturally. People always keep saying that you should get out of your comfort zone, but if you're just starting out, you are out of your comfort zone all the time at the start. Just do whatever comes naturally at first before trying to make it too hard.
Many people these days make their own zines, or maybe some self-publish some books. Have you done that, or are you planning to do it?
I've done one zine, and I plan to do more. And I think it's a good idea. It's a very excellent practice to sequence your shots and compile them into a zine. Compared to any online publication, a zine, a printed publication like a zine, it has one distinctive difference. It's the layout, which is fixed. So you can, if you want one picture to be really big and some picture to be really small, you can do that, and the viewer can't change the layout. You can sort of emphasize one picture by putting it like really big in your zine, and some pictures just, they look better in big or small depending on the picture. And you can also build your story by changing the size of the pictures, for example, or the way they are on the page, whether it's in the middle or maybe the picture is in the upper right corner and there's a lot of like empty space on the page, like white or something. You can do so many things with the layout that is a lot harder to do online the same way. And because I've shot for printed publications for decades, it's familiar to me, the process, how it works. I have made one book. It's a flash, like a guidebook for flashes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yes.
It was from Docendo.
Yeah, it was not self-published, so I'm proud of that. Someone else wanted to publish that. So, but I haven't made any like photo, like art books or something like that.
You're planning to?
Who knows? Maybe someday.
That was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Good to hear. Where can people find you?
I hope there's a link down below for my YouTube channel. That's the best way to find me. You can put my Instagram label on the screen maybe. But I'm not active there, so I'm hungry. Let's have something to eat and maybe another coffee.
Okay, let's go get a snack then.
Thanks guys.
Thank you.
And in the next one.